Good morning, Newman Smith. I'm Dr. Jimenez, the proud principal of Newman Smith High School, where our mission is to graduate all scholars to be college, career, or military ready without remediation. Well, scholars, it is Tuesday. Remember, absence makeup starts today after school. Also, don't forget tomorrow afternoon is our student musical preview. You must have purchased your ticket through your fine arts director to be able to attend the student musical preview. We're super excited about that. That is tomorrow, Wednesday afternoon. Tickets can be bought through your fine arts teacher. Okay, big night tonight against Turner. We've got soccer playing Turner and basketball playing Turner. All kinds of things are going on with the other school down the street. So come on out and cheer on all of our sports as they play Turner. Okay, well, here for this week's Holocaust Remembrance Week is our social studies instructional facilitator, Miss Shaddle. So, Miss Shaddle, would you come over with that remembrance quote?
Hello, scholars. January 27th is designated by the United Nations General Assembly as International Holocaust Remembrance Day. We will be honoring all of the sobering events of the Holocaust throughout this week. Since 2005, the UN and its member states have held commemoration ceremonies to mark the anniversary of the liberation of Auschwitz-Birkenau and to honor the 6 million Jewish victims of the Holocaust and millions of other victims of Nazism. Drawing from the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, the resolution condemns all forms of religious intolerance, incitement, harassment, violence against persons or communities based on ethnic origin or religious belief. Throughout the world, we honor this week as Holocaust Remembrance Week.
Thank you, Ms. Shaddle, and to your entire department for helping us remember this in history. So, scholars, every week we have been, since we've come back second semester, we've had a quote, an inspirational quote from the book that Mr. Pouncey gave all of the Smith teachers and some of the scholars. And so today, instead of a quote, we actually have one of our staff members, Miss Lasater, here to talk about her dad. Now, this is important because if you've ever been to a building where you've seen a ramp where which has made that building handicap accessible, or if you've ever parked in a spot that is handicapped, or you have a family member or friend who has that sticker and you've been able to park in that spot, that's all because of her dad. So we're going to invite Miss Lassiter over. This really is an inspiration, scholars, and I know you're going to love hearing this story. So Miss Lassiter is housed down in our Play-Doh lab, and we want to welcome her to talk about her dad.
Greetings. I should have turned that off. My dad, Robert Lynch, he lived to be 88. He had polio when he was 9, and so he was handicapped. He either used crutches or a wheelchair. So he wasn't actually expected to survive. So he had to be in a hospital for 6 months and an iron lung. They broke both of his legs when he was 14 because at 14 the bones are still soft and they can be broken to help him recover a little bit. When he got into high school, so he needed to have breath capacity, so he took up swimming, and he would swim a mile a day, and he couldn't touch the ground. So 1 mile consecutive laps all at once. He needed upper body strength to do college, and so he took up weightlifting. He sometimes had bed rest for a year at a time, so he took up reading. He asked the city to bring him, they would bring him books, and they said, where do you want to start? He said, science fiction. And he said, what book? He said, A. So we worked through the entire science fiction section, and then he took up war books and just everything. He made use of his time. He was an overcomer. And so in school, he was an average student because he had hours of therapy every day. And so he would take index cards because he couldn't carry books, and he would write notes, and at home he could look up things in the books. In college, before he could start college, he had a whole year of prep to retake a lot of classes from high school, and he became an A student, and he liked that. And so he just learned how to learn, and he didn't let things get him down. His dad said, if you want to survive, if you want to compete in an able-bodied world, you need to be hyper-educated. So he got tested, learned that he would be ideal to be an architect, and he became an architect. And he became class president and had to run meetings, and he took Toastmasters. Whenever he found a lacking, he found what he needed to do to overcome it. So Toastmasters helped him give speeches and run meetings. And so he just was such an encouragement to me. So I wanted to pass that along to you guys. My dad, Robert Lynch. So, thank you.
So, Miss Lasater, how did he get into the architecture of making buildings handicap accessible?
Well, he was an architect, and during the I guess during the bicentennial especially, they needed things to be accessible, and they see him and they say, you must know how to make buildings accessible. So he became an expert because there was no field in accessibility in Massachusetts. They started reviewing plans, and it's like, wouldn't it be nice if instead of these builders and architects making the same mistakes, wouldn't it be nice if we had rules that they could follow, and then we could stamp them approved? So the Massachusetts Compliance Board was built, and he wrote the standards that got accepted nationally as part of the ANSI standards. And then he was on the chair to write the ADA standards. So
that is amazing, because even in our theater right now, Miss Lassiter, with all of the new construction, it has to be up to ADA code. And so that's why I thought it would be very interesting if you came on and told our scholars about your dad, because that really is an amazing story. So scholars, I don't know what you are overcoming, but just know that overcoming something is so difficult, but that if you will just dig deep, let us know. I know your teachers love you. We love you. We'll help you. But look at what happens when you do overcome and you can come through. And then he actually is someone who changed the world. Miss Lester, thanks for sharing that story. We'll invite Miss Shadow back and we will close out. So scholars, we love you. We think you're great. Remember, character counts, and make it a great day or not. The choice is yours.